That's how some of you want me to act on this, apparently. Because apparently I'm too optimistic all the time. I can't believe he left! Damn, y'all pissing me off with this shit, bro. No, I'm not going to panic every time somebody leaves. Is it frustrating? Yes. But like I told you, okay? The portal just ripped my damn nuts out sometimes. That's how it be, okay? Why? I don't know. TJ seriously enters the portal, guys. Good to see you. Welcome back to the show. Happy to have you. Be sure to smash the like button and subscribe. Yes, TJ seriously, another edge rusher, has entered into the portal. And look, I mean, it sucks. I mean, I get so irritated with some of this stuff. Look, everyone has a different perspective, a different outlook on these things. If you're not watching the current state of college football and you're surprised by this, I think that you're just choosing to not see what's happening. The other thing I do want to note is that let's all gather around the table, okay? We all agree, right, that Searcy was a contributor to the football team. It's going to be great anywhere he goes. Going to have an impact, yes? Okay, now that we're all on the same page there. We keep panicking about Billy not moving quick enough in the portal, right? Yet here we are, almost 9 days in, and ourselves just lost a contributor. My point is that teams continue to lose contributors day over day, week over week. The portal is a fluid thing that continues to grow and move and do all kinds of things that I genuinely don't think we have a true understanding or grasp on. We talked about this on Sunday's show, and I'm also going to get a little bit of petty here, okay? Because I mentioned this, and somebody said, hey, how about we just don't guess next time? Your apologies accepted. Everyone's got a lot to say as of late, apparently, on how I do things. I appreciate your input, guys. Thank you so much. As for where we sit now for edge rushers, what do I have pulled up here? That we'll go over in just a minute. I do want to talk about that. For edge rushers now, we see what George Gomez Jr. still, Tyreek Sapp. Hopefully this means these guys are coming back, right? Cameron James still on the list. LJ McCray, of course. Jaden Woods. Jalen Wiggins could come in and be a factor too. So you kind of have, again, those two guys coming in to replace, in a sense, that Pyburn and TJ Searcy. Again, both guys were super effective. I love the way that TJ flew around the field. We also lost a defensive coordinator who knows how much of an impact that had. Did people like Austin Armstrong? Did they not like? I don't know. We really don't know. It's ever moving around. And again, we've talked about the two with the agents. That's a huge factor that's going to be a play into this as well. For edge players, right now of what's available out there, if we wanted to go get another one, Ben Bell, he is the number one edge player right now that's in the portal at 94.69. You know what's interesting? I took a look at Pyburn because he's now technically in the portal. Kelby Collins is rated higher than him in the portal as an edge rusher who hasn't played much at all. So it's kind of interesting to see how these things play. Jack Pyburn's ranked 87th, the 87th edge player. He bumped up a little bit, actually. But what I was looking before, he was down a little bit. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. So he's still a third string. But there's, Marvin Jones Jr., the kid from FSU. There's talent in there. Does Florida go after? I don't know. I'm just letting you know that there is still talent that is available in the portal. I'm being told we're stacked at every position and we don't need anyone. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think that is that room thick? It was, and now all of a sudden it's not so thick anymore. I will argue that. But listen, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, people are gonna get frustrated with Florida and all these things, and that's kind of what I have this list pulled up here. Is look, everybody's being pebbled true. Georgia has lost 8, and Georgia's obviously playing at the playoffs. First round bye. Could they have more? Florida has 14 so far. We got 1 transfer in. Y'all know who it is. Shout out my dog punter. Mississippi State has 25. Arkansas has 26, 25, whatever that says. Alabama has 14 with 0 transferred in. And who else? Oklahoma has like 25, I believe. So we have 14. Again, the 14 guys I took a look at. I mean, we know who they are. The big ones obviously being like the Jakeem, the Kelby, TJ. TJ would be 15 because he's not on this list currently. I don't think his paperwork has been submitted properly just yet. obviously Jack Pyburn. Then you got like the Bryce Capers, Christian Williams, kind of those fourth and fifth string guys that, we obviously hate to see him go, but they weren't really having much of an impact anyway. So of the 14, I would say we've lost probably three to four that are like, would have loved to hang on to them. But obviously it's always not going to be that easy. Again, I don't know what how people expect to react to this situation. I'm not saying it's okay to lose guys. Again, these are position groups that we have much success in. We've got a lot of talent in the room. So if you're someone like a TJ Searcy and a Jack Pyburn, right? And you know that, hey, you can go be a guy. Again, essentially, you could argue that TJ Searcy, LJ McCray, Gums, and Tyreek Sapp, and Pyburn are all starters. And so everyone's like, well, pay him. Just pay him. I mean, that's not realistic to have 5 starters on any roster. So that's where it's not me being positive. You want me to be real and be like, lay all these things out. Like TJ Searcy has been fantastic. And LJ McCray, like, he's a 5-star. He didn't contribute much. You don't go get it the top 5 player in the country. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? We want to go get a guy like an LJ McCray and recruit him, and then save a guy like a TJ Searcy who was a lower end recruit who kind of built up his stock and now has a lot more value. And so you've got a guy in LJ McCray who's supposed to be him, TJ Searcy who's elevated his game through the development, and now you're kind of stuck in between 2 guys. NFL runs into it too. You're not going to just stack up guys like that. I think it's a compliment. It sucks. It doesn't feel good, but it's a compliment to the development. It's a compliment to the evaluation of these guys, because again, these guys are going to go somewhere and get starter money, starter reps, wherever they go. And I believe they'll go play somewhere in the SEC. So that isn't me being positive or it is being optimistic, but it's a true definition of looking at it. Like, does it suck? Does it hurt? Yeah, I hate it. It's awful. Like the kid's good. Both kids were contributors. Love seeing them on the football field. But to just sit here and say like, hey, the whole thing's coming down, crashing and burning, I'm not going to do that either. Because there's also still 10 days left. You're able to make some moves, do some things, and see how they play it all out. So I can't freak out just yet. We lost Pyburn, Searcy, Collins, Cam Jackson, Big Dez, Slackman, Ivory, and possibly Sapp. So we lose Sapp, then maybe I get a little more worried, right? Sapp's a huge one. If you lose Sapp, then yeah. To me, the way I'm looking at it is like, okay, like if you're spending money to save the Gums, the Sapps, and Gums, again, somebody who was a underrated pick when we got him in the portal. People weren't too excited about him. Obviously flourished into something very exciting this year. Again, I think Searcy, would have loved to keep Searcy or Pyburn, but I don't know. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. Big Dez isn't, look, even Daniel Rivera. Big Dez isn't like we're losing sleep over it, but we'll see. We will see. Yeah, the NIL portal, all of it has to be addressed. All of it has to be fixed. And look, we're going to talk about the Jack Pyburn thing in just a minute, because I found it very interesting how things shaped up pretty quickly for him. And again, it speaks to the NIL, the portal things. I don't think these guys leave unless they know they've got a pretty good idea of where they're going to go. And that's my thing, is that they're able to, and even like Stephen Harris said last night, they're able to have leverage in these meetings. And Florida's kind of, all teams, not Florida. Look, I brought this list up to show you, like, look, it's not, and then this is just the SEC. And other teams aren't having this either, but I mean, Alabama's being pimped through. They haven't brought anybody in. Is Bama done and over with? Oklahoma's lost 25. They've only brought 1 guy in. Mississippi State, they've lost 25. They've done a good job of bringing some guys in, but they've obviously moved a lot more people as well. Didn't have as big as a recruiting class. That plays a factor as well. So, there's just so many moving pieces to this thing. I don't think we're losing Sapp. That's what Muddy just said. I haven't heard anything about Sapp. So, yeah, Dez had his moments. Dez was a big depth piece, but again, we didn't have Jamari Lyons last year. He comes back, and then you bring in a very young core talent. So, do they fill the Dez position right away? No, but as for depth, I mean, there's depth there now. Would love more of it. So, we'll see. Is there any big wide receivers in the portal at this moment? I mean, yeah, there's plenty of wide receivers that haven't committed yet that are still doing around. Eric Singleton, he's still up. Kevin Conception, I believe is his name. Micah Hudson, he already committed. Technically, Dane Key still available. Looking like Ole Miss is leading the way right now. Barryon Brown, he committed to LSU. Deuce Robinson, looking like he's going from USC to Arizona State. Very interesting there. Nick Anderson, obviously still in the mix. CJ Daniels. These are all. I mean, these are the top wide receivers in the portal for them. Jonte Cook was once a 5-star wide receiver. So Caleb Odom, obviously he's still out there. Looking like Ole Miss might land that one as well. They obviously have no issue spending money at Ole Miss because they're favored to land a lot of big guys. Dane Key and right now they're favored to land Dane Key and Caleb Odom. Ole Miss is. Oh man. We'll see. I trust Billy, but right now things are scary. Yeah, look, I mean, the way it feels right now, it's a little, you're kind of sitting here with your hand in your pants, just like watching kind of things fall down a little bit. And that's where it gets a little frustrating. So I get it. Hey, look, it's a bumpy offseason, boys. It's a bumpy offseason. I think a lot of us had anticipations of rolling into this with the momentum that we had, have a great signing day. You get a bowl game to expect a little more of, again, a kind of a roll. And again, Shamar James is another name that could possibly happen. We talked about that last night. Somebody said, I'm making this up. No, this is a Keith Napier article. It's an article that has been spread across the internet. Other people have written about this as well, and that Shamar James is contemplating his decision. It's not me just pulling smoke out of my ass. I don't know where that was coming from either, but it's just mayhem as of late. Rob Sale's got to go. I don't know where that's coming from either, but this is just the state of Florida football, so I understand it. It's just the ebbs and flows of we're winning, we're losing, it's high, it's low, it's crazy, it's burning it all down. I don't know. Here's a good point. We all panicked about recruiting. Keanu says Billy's going to shock the world again, just like a recruiting class, calling it now. We panicked on that. Everybody goes, there's not, and Swalter, I remember the conversation because he's like, there's not going to be enough time to turn it around. There's no way they can turn it around. It's too close. They turned it around once. It's way too soon, again, to be panicking just yet. Like I said, let's wait till the portal comes to a close to have a full synopsis of it. Again, the reason why I haven't been fully panicked is that, yes, are we losing guys that have contributed? Very much, but the rooms that are leaving, there's still talent there. I'm not saying I'm okay with them leaving, right? But it isn't like it's, I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it, but there's definitely areas where we can't afford to lose anything. And fortunately, we haven't done that. I think Damian George, in my opinion, was probably a bigger loss than all of these guys. I think there's guys coming up, but I want to make sure that running back room and DJ Lagway are protected and can thrive as much as possible next year. And I believe Damian George is a key component to that. And I feel like he was a bigger loss. It may not be on paper, but his contributes to the team and what he was able to do last year, and I think what he'll be able to do with another year under Rob Sale and DeCoster, I think is massive. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, this show is brought to you by Tecovas. Rock and roll with Tecovas this entire week. Christmas is just around the corner. It is a great time to get yourself a nice pair of sexy boots for either the husband or the wife or whoever you want to be. A great pair are the Deans. Absolutely just gorgeous pairs of cowboy boots that I love. Handcrafted, genuine leather. And I say this every single time. If you've got a Tecovas by you, you got to go check it out. It's one of a kind of experience. If not, just go online. Check out their boots. If you kind of know what you like and you're just a natural boot guy, I promise you won't be disappointed, right? So the experience is great in indoors. I know sometimes boots are kind of weird. Like, hey, I want to try them on and do those things. The fit is fantastic. I promise you, again, I put on these pair of boots. They fit better than any of the pair of boots that I've had. Of course, the ones I wear every single day that I break in are a different animal. But these things are absolutely gorgeous and sexy. And when you go to Tecovas.com/hightop right now and sign up for texts and emails, you get back 10%. So you'll log in, you'll sign up, a little thing will pop up. Sign up for texts and emails. Sign up for those things to get the 10% back. Once you go to Tecovas.com/hightop, that's TECOVAS.com/hightop to make sure that you take advantage of the 10% discount code that they're rocking with right now. That is Tecovas, point your toes west. Now, here's one that I found very interesting is that these things dropped today. He committed to LSU yesterday. This is where, for me, it's like, look, like this is how could you have cards already in LSU gear ready for order? I mean, I guess you don't have to necessarily have them printed out because you can set up the order, right? Like a pre-order thing. But that just shows you kind of what's happening behind the scenes. That's just a matter of a fact. These things would have sold like hotcake at Florida. How they sell at LSU, I don't know. Like, LSU doesn't even know the cat yet. Like, they're not bonded like we were. You know what I mean? But is that... My thing is, like, I have questions. Like, why did Florida... Was Florida not wanting to do these things? And the fact that he already has this already kind of ready to go and already created... You can argue, like, no, we just moved that fast. This was in the works, is what I'm getting at. And the kid's been in the portal for a couple days, so it's no big deal. But I'm just telling you that there's just so many moving pieces, again, that I think we truly can't get a grasp on. I don't think I have a true grasp on it yet. Colton says, don't panic. He says, don't panic. All we've gotten out of the portal is a punter. We are not willing to spend the money, which means we have zero desire to compete for titles. Again, that's my opinion. That's a bit of an overreaction. I hope that I'm wrong, right? That it is an overreaction and that you're not right, that we're not just sitting here willingly not to do that. See, maybe I'm blind. Be patient. How did that work out for Billy Laporta since he's been here? Pretty well. This is the part that sucks, because like when things are not going well, like everybody just wants to pull out their bad laundry and like, F this, screw that. Mr. Nobody was like riding high for the last 3 weeks, like we all were, saying this is great, blah, 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 blah. Now we just want to panic literally 2 weeks after the season because it's gone a little sideways, which I agree. It's not the best case scenario. And look, if we close out with getting one punter, then yeah, I'm like, all right, well, this is a little questionable. 1,000%. But it hasn't closed yet. So that's why I'm not panicking yet. And to say that how has it worked out for him, it's like, bro, half the team we're talking about right now, Banks, Jackson, George, Crenshaw, who was a huge factor, Badger, Pearsall, who else am I missing? Gums, DK. I mean, these are all portal pickups. So I'm not panicking. I mean, Mertz, we always slip on Mertz because he wasn't like, a Heisman, but the guy came in with a very efficient quarterback for the Florida Gators while he was here. So I don't know. I wouldn't be mad if we lost tomorrow. Q Lee, listen here, boys. Q Lee, out of everybody who's like usually pretty negative, has kind of been out. Q Lee, am I wrong in saying this? Pretty even keel with the guys that have left. Tell me if I'm wrong. Yeah, everyone's having a blast here today. Which guys are you excited to watch in the bowl game? I want to see the young guys step up, replacing the transfer guys. Agreed, loved it. I'm excited to see the D line. I'm excited to see kind of like Robinson and Deion and Michael Abora and kind of how the new edge play is going to be, right? We'll see. If you know your coach, right? I mean, the guy's closed. He closed the recruiting class. Yeah, see, Q Lee's not worried, and Q Lee is I would say the king of criticism. He's the king of criticism, and again, I think the same kind of. He's not positive. He's not your Disney Gator, as people like to claim me as, and I claim myself, whatever, or this optimistic point of view of the situation. But when you look at the guys that have left, yes, are they guys that we've loved and have been factors and all these great things? For sure. But is it the starting core? No. It's not your one guys. And these guys have grinded and worked and feel, hey, I'm a starter now. I have the right to go and get day one money and day one playing time. I think Pyburn was a starter. I can't say he was not a starter. So that one I would say is a starter because he started his position, but so that was a little bit different. But again, these guys feel like they deserve more because they've earned it, and we've got talent there that probably feels the same way. And I think it's a hard thing to manage. I don't know. Everybody's sitting here like, hey, we should just pay everybody. we also don't know, there's more, you would think there's more to it. Again, we can all agree that the guarantees that Pyburn was asking for were egregious, okay? TJ Searcy, who knows what he was asking for? What if he was asking for guarantees too? Are we going to be okay with that? If he's like, hey, I don't like that Austin Armstrong left. Well, people are okay with Austin Armstrong. Do you see kind of like how many, like, there's more levels to it than just, hey, the kid asked for $100,000 and Billy goes, nope, see ya. I don't think it's that simple. I just don't. I think that he's like, hey, I'm going to ask for $230,000. They're like, okay, bet. I also want to play a guaranteed X amount of snaps. I can't guarantee. Well, this team is, and I also don't like that so and so still here and that so and so left. Well, hey, sorry, we had to move on from Armstrong. It wasn't working out. We weren't huge fans of the play calling. Okay, well, I'm out. Like, you know what I mean? Like that. Those are to me that, like, there's more to it as well. That's the part that we'll never truly, I think, grasp or get, because there are a lot of pieces. So, I don't know. Look, there's no right, I don't know, there's no right response. This is never fun news to talk about. That's for sure. Look, I agree. LJ McCray, I'm excited to see LJ McCray. Not everybody is sold on LJ McCray. If I push the LJ McCray season, then it's like, what did he do last year? I mean, 12 tackles and half a sack as a true freshman who really didn't play earlier on, but kind of came up towards the end, who was really having a big impact. Yeah, that is my point, is you've got a true 5-star edge player that, again, like someone like a Colin Simmons at Texas, I mean, that guy's going to steal jobs from everybody because of how fantastic he is and how much he's going to be asking for. Guy was a 5-star freshman, probably got a pretty penny, comes and balls out. You're now playing in a playoff game, right? Colin Simmons might be asking for a shit ton of money too. We could see Colin Simmons in the portal, but he's got that Texas money, so probably not. So here's what I don't like. You're definitely Disney as fuck, bro. Me and Alpha Jane keep it real, but we haters. So, look, I think, yes, you guys have your perspective on it, as do I. Do you lean more one way than I do? For sure. I try to look at a situation like, hey, here's the positives from this situation versus just believing that the sky is on fire. I don't believe that you're haters. No, I just think that you are a little more reserved in your optimism, which is fine too. I've always said that. I give you shit because I think you're a little bitch. But other than that, no, I don't think, again, the reason I play the hater card, because everyone's like, oh no, you're just a Disney Gator. It's like, no, I tried to say, look, like, I'm not going to just sit here and just pout and complain and cry. Like, that's just not, I can't stand doing that. Like, shows like this suck. Shows like this suck. I can't stand them. I love cheering, getting fired up, throwing on the damn hat and getting all razzle-dazzled for it. But, it is. It is what it is. He's probably making more than Pyburn and Searcy. Oh, Colin Simmons? Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. No one's going to be happy ultimately until we're recruiting at the level of Alabama, Texas, and Georgia. It's the nature of the beast. I totally agree. And that's what I think that's the expectation that from everybody. We haven't been there in forever. So I think that's where me being reality is like, your expectations are coming from where? From 20 years ago, right? Where the game has changed, and that's where your frustration comes in of like, well, we were doing it 20 years ago. Why don't we adjust back to that? I agree. There's things that we don't have control over. There's bigger fish to fry. In that regards of like, it's a different conversation, right? Now, you could argue right now Alabama's kind of in a little bit of a weird place. But yeah, I know that's what it is. If we're not at at that level, nothing else matters. And I get that. That's how most of the fan base looks at it, and they're not wrong for feeling that way. I think I missed a couple of stupid chats here. $2. Check out Twitter notification, Jack being petty, bro. No way. Oh, jeez. It's going to be ugly. I got to wrap the show up here, though, boys, in just a minute. This guy just says, Florida's fine. Left with these guys for 2 edge spots. I'm not worried at all. Sapp, McCray, Gums, Cameron, James, Wiggins. I mean, that's why I try to say there is depth, but everyone's just going to yell at me, so I'm just... Oh, so Jack Pyburn commented on TJ Searcy's Instagram, says, be great, fan, make them understand. It's personal. I mean, it is what it is. It's just like, For me, the Piper thing, like, they keep kind of doubling down on it. I mean, I don't know how pissed off he is, but that just seems a bit much at this point. Thank you for Anthony for letting me know. 352 Sports, $5. If we get every portal player early, we miss out on much better tier players in the next portal period. We went 7-5, so team wasn't perfect, so change is needed. Listen, now you can't sound logical because then you're just a Disney Gator, right? It's going to be doom and gloom for most of the fan base this whole offseason if we don't hire an offensive coordinator, O-line coach, or bring in a top portal class. LL, have faith in Lagway. Could be a long. I thought it was going to be a fun offseason. Could be a long one. Could be a long one. We'll see, boys. Hey, I got a rip, though. Y'all be good. If anything else breaks, you know where to be. You know where to find me. I'll be right here hanging out, smiling, being overly optimistic. And y'all be good, though. Smash the like button, subscribe. Peace and love, baby.